to 5:30. I don't remember seeing that. I love spaghetti and I don't remember
Okay,
seeing
I'll call the
And
meeting
I
to
don't have
order
that.
at 5:31.
Last week's people.
And if you'll join me to stand to do the pledge, there's a little flag to the left. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call. Elia Guevara, present. Diana Rodriguez.
Present.
Esther Pirova.
Here.
Rosina Silva. Dolores Boswell.
Here.
Alice Herrera.
Present.
Francis Jaworski.
Here.
Sylvia Palumbo.
Present.
Olga Gentry.
Here.
Diana Espinosa.
Here.
Sandra Rocha Taylor here. Lizette Brea.
Here.
Maribel Garcia.
Here.
Thank you. Yes. Okay. Anyone here for public comments? I see no one.
Nobody's
So we'll
present.
continue. Status report on the submitted applications for the 2019 Hall of Fame event with possible action and any other matters incident thereto. Okay. I'm going to hand out to you a kind of little brief. If you can pass some. Yes, thank you. Here, I'll leave these two ladies and then you can. Thank you. And basically what we did for you is that we put the category and the individuals that were nominated. Could you please turn off your phones if it's not,
No, put them on vibrate, yes.
or put on vibrate, yeah, while we're in the mood. And if you need to speak to someone, please step outside. So we have our categories and the individuals that were nominated and who they nominated, who nominated them, and then we put the references, and then at the very end we put some of their accomplishments or impacts. It's very brief. We have a little more detail in the applications, but these were the people that we reviewed, and we did have a couple of questions, but the committee ultimately decided to accept these applicants. There was one individual that was nominated twice, which is very nice to see. There are a few things, as you review that list, that as a committee, we thought going forward that we might need to consider. And I felt we did a good job this year of everyone, all of you, thank you so much for helping us spread the word for people to submit applications. So I think we were very successful with the social media. We did get it out on KGNS, and I believe Univision helped us as well. So because of that, we may be getting more applications in the future. And some of the questions that were made to me, and I don't think we have a specific criteria that we might want to consider going forward, is how many people we would accept for a category. So I believe in the past there has not really been a limit, but you may want to consider going forward if you want to only include or consider 2 per category or 3 per category, or not more than whatever. That's something for us to vote on in the future. Another,
Excuse me.
yes,
I
ma'am.
thought we had a limit here for 2. per category. That's what we've been doing for the last 3 years, I believe.
There's nothing written.
Per category.
There's nothing written.
There's nothing written anymore.
So does that mean that because it's not in writing, then it's not still, it
I
doesn't
think-
apply?
I think it just depends on the nominating, how the committee felt. If they felt that all of them were pretty good, and that's probably why they brought it to us, so we can decide here. Put it in the vote to that,
Yeah,
because
that's
they
what
look
the
like,
minds say.
yeah,
Well,
because
we-
they look like very,
Yeah, we
Potential
liked all of the
candidates.
candidates, and at this point, we are submitting all of the candidates for your approval. But what we're saying is going forward, because there were
Right.
people that were submitting that were asking, and since I didn't have any reference point, I would say, well, it just depends how many people we get for a
How many
category.
applicants did we have?
So, we had 14.
14 applicants, so one of them was not picked.
No, one of them was twice.
Oh, okay, well,
So
that's what I'm
13.
saying, so there are actually 13.
Yes,
So the 13 that submitted, all the 13 are being honored,
yes,
or picked.
yes.
Well, that's what we decide here today. That's
Well,
what-
No, well, that's what we're
asking for
submitting.
my
The one that was
information.
twice, was it in the same category, or did they?
It's because a lot of them put like separate
all three.
categories. They would
They
put
put
three
like
different
three.
categories on there, and we're like, okay, it
Well,
wasn't.
I mean,
That was
I
the
know
other
that
thing.
they've done that in the past.
We've
when-
done that before in the past to pick out which one. you
Because
know,
they kind of spill over
Yeah.
into,
Mhm.
Correct.
you know.
that they could fit in various categories, some of them.
well, all of them were in every category except for law enforcement, so I guess none of them fell into law enforcement at all.
No. There was one person that had worked in law enforcement, but that's not where they applied, so we just put them wherever they applied. Another question was, and I understand you all at one time had like 17 categories or something like that, and you brought them down. And there wasn't
think
one
so.
for philanthropy or volunteerism?
We had some other ones that
We
we
had
actually,
volunteerism,
we had,
Okay.
yes.
condensed them because the categories were being emptied out, like they
Okay.
were empty, like we really never filled them up, so we
Okay.
combined them.
Okay.
And some of them kind of made the same thing, so it was just easier to combine them. So that's why it got narrowed down to just these categories.
So just that's the only one that we thought some people might have fit better in that, in a philanthropy or volunteerism, but there isn't one category for that.
Maybe that's why.
There used to be one for volunteerism,
Maybe to add that.
yeah.
I think we
Should.
should.
That one and community service.
A community service,
Or is it volunteer?
Yeah, and
volunteerism.
volunteer, I think that
Okay.
used to be one.
Community
Oh,
That used to be another
That
category.
used to be a category.
Okay.
We have so many women that
Some
do
of
a lot.
these would fit better
Yeah.
in
Yes.
those areas.
Okay, and then one of the other questions that came up, because, and I'm sure this hasn't come up before because this is something new, that city council will be reviewing and approving what we submit to them.
Sure.
But we did have a submission from a city council member. And because of that, we kind of felt maybe it was a little conflict of interest. So
Yeah,
again, we don't have, like Esther pointed out, we don't have it written anywhere that says a city council member cannot nominate. Because of that, we couldn't disqualify that individual from the application because,
he's gonna be approving, remember.
exactly.
That's.
So they're submitting and they're
That's what
approving.
Well,
I'm saying.
And
Yeah,
that's
but
why the-
remember, that's what happened last, since it's not in our bylaws, it's still not in writing.
Because we,
Because remember that happened,
But we do have it on the
No.
application that committee members cannot nominate.
committee cannot nominate it, or the sitting council cannot be nominated.
Correct.
But never, I don't think it says anywhere in there that
No.
they cannot nominate.
Right.
That would be
Case
one of the
it
things
was
to do
final
for
say.
revision if we,
it's gonna be, I think. it
Yes,
would be a
ma'am.
conflict.
I think that that's one of the things we need to look for revision, what we're going to include it or
Before,
not.
Yeah.
Well, right now, we can't make any changes, I mean, it stays.
Right
like
now, we
this.
have to accept it
Well,
simply
everything's-
because
yes.
it's not in writing. It's the same
Not in
thing
the
with the
bylaws.
commission
That would
member
be
that
one of the
happened last
things
time.
to consider along with the one selection per category.
take it to
That
council,
also,
the
yeah.
legal
Okay.
counsel.
And
Correct.
so, those are things, I'm writing down, we have that, the number of selectees per category, including philanthropy and volunteer, including those categories into, and then also now whether or not a city council member can nominate.
And I think Lizette brought up a very good point for this year, and that was that,
Like, since they already nominated and we don't have it in writing that they can't, but this is the first year they're gonna vote on it, I think that that's council members should abstain from voting in that case.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
we're not
so
gonna,
avoid.
we're not gonna.
No, but not
suggest
us,
it.
that's it for the sake, that's why I wanted him to come so he can tell them.
No,
It's
but I think we
properly-
do need to suggest it, because
That's why I wanted him to
it
be here, but
will
he's
look
not here today.
improper.
I think he could just let him know throughout, or the members, could just let him
You
know.
know what, yeah,
Yeah, she's a city.
yeah, I'm sorry, I was just because I always reference to him with the question.
Sure.
That's how I was waiting for him to be there.
He can always make that
That's,
request.
we can do that.
That's all.
I don't think it's a problem, it's just, it's like the same scenario we had, what, a year ago, last year, that one of our commission members voted, and we were not supposed to, submit an application, and we still accept, but it wasn't in writing, it was just, we still accepted it, because it wasn't in our bylaws, so I don't see a problem with him voting,
I think before we take
nominating.
it to be approved by the city, we need to maybe tell Mr. Valdez, and then maybe he can let the.
Well, he's the one that.
I did actually
Yeah,
go to
he
him
just noticed it.
directly, with that question, and his comment was, we don't have it in writing anywhere that they cannot. So because of that, we can't exclude it. But that would be the only thing that we could mention, is because he submitted.
And it would
Because
be-
I am gonna submit, similar to what you just received,
I would
that will be
recommend
going to city
Would have to
council
come from him
members.
to accept.
And as you can see there, it says nominated by, and it will
Because
say
it doesn't
Alberto
say
Torres.
anything.
And I will mention
No, but
this,
whenever you
someone,
have a conflict
Okay,
of
hold
interest,
on.
you're not supposed
one
to-
of the applicants came to, or not the applicants, but one of the nominating parties asked me, or told me that he was waiting on a reference letter or letter of recommendation from the mayor. And I said, no, no, no. Try to get someone else, because the mayor has to approve it, and that would be a conflict of interest. That's how I saw
Be
it.
also
Yeah.
for the council,
I'm sorry?
the city council member
Yeah,
has to
but she didn't know
approve.
at the time who had submitted.
I know, I
anything.
understand, but I'm talking about, you're saying that the mayor is gonna be
No, the person
voting.
just
Asked,
asked.
he withdrew.
The
Never gonna
letter of
Mr. Roberts.
recommendation,
At the letter of recommendation.
they ended up getting it from, I recommended they get it from someone else.
So the mayor couldn't bring one in.
Correct,
It wouldn't
because
see-
he's
it
gonna
wouldn't look
be
right.
Voting,
voting.
por eso digo, y el city council member is gonna be voting on the one that he recommended.
And
Correct.
actually, he
See,
recommended
that's
two of
also
them.
like a little conflict
Conflict.
also.
But remember how we
Yes.
said one person had two applications, he recommended the other person as well.
Correct.
So
Yeah,
there's
two
two people
nominations.
on here,
Oh,
yeah.
But we got the
Still,
other
I
person, the
think
other
that's probably that's gonna come up too.
What I was gonna say is,
Yo digo
if
que
it shouldn't come from us, just tell them, don't vote.
Oh, no, that's why not from us, I was saying for.
And even, maybe Mr. Valdez
Mr.
could
Valdez
put it
should
in a certain way, but since there's nothing in writing,
Yeah.
we
No, but
can't.
proper protocol, when you're in charge of any board, when
When
there's
you're-
a conflict
when
of
you're in doubt,
interest,
leave it
you
out.
have
That's
to
what you would
abstain.
expect to happen.
It doesn't
But
always
there's
happen.
nothing written that.
Well, I
that's
think
gonna happen.
Tiffany will bring it up, yes, so.
Sorry, Tiffany.
No, you're fine.
I was looking for Mr. Valdez and I heard it.
They'll be
So,
embarrassed.
what we're
if
gonna
They approve
do
it and they tell them no.
is we all have the names, I'm not saying the names out loud, because it is public, and so, to avoid any, because we still have to go through the city.
We can't say, or,
I
Yes,
guess, question,
Mhm.
on the ones that have the three, is that the order that you all believe they should be on, or you just put them in that order?
we just put them in that order.
Like if you felt like Olivia's your first choice, then Rosalinda, then Ana, or all three of them
I
are your choice
think-
and you don't have a
I
choice, a preference?
think that was the preference, but,
Not necessarily.
Not
yeah,
necessarily.
Yeah, no,
maybe,
no.
yeah, not necessarily.
Does it make a
but-
difference or what?
For me,
Yeah.
it would, because
You
I
need
would
the
try to
order that they're in?
because, because then I know what preference they preferred, that they, because they read the application, the bio, and they felt, okay, this person should get it. These also got the same criterias, but if we had to select, like, in other words, if this committee decide only one per category.
No, we're submitting all
No,
13.
I understand,
Oh, but in
you're
the
the
future.
committee.
The committee.
No, your committee submitting this, but us as a whole, like myself, I'm just speaking for myself, like, okay, like, well, you know what, I wrote that it should only be two, not three. Like, and then if you would tell me, okay, well, the first two are the ones that we felt were, in order, then, okay, well, then just the first two, not the third. But if you're saying it's no order, that's what I'm just saying, like, I'm just.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that we can't do that. We can't select just one. Because in the bylaws, it doesn't say that.
I'm not saying,
She's saying
it's
it.
not, I'm not saying about the bylaws that there's a limit,
but
no, I'm not saying
If we're
that.
gonna eliminate anybody here,
Not
then-
this time.
not this time.
But it's
But what she's
okay.
saying, she could make a motion
Yeah.
to suggest that
No,
only
but
2
I think
people
we're
per
gonna-
category,
I would vote
and we
against
could
it only
vote for
Right,
it.
that's correct.
Because we're gonna change, if we had put somewhere in the application, only one candidate per category.
No, you don't have to.
No.
But the other way.
No,
you
it's
can't.
not that, Ms. Francis, I'm not saying that, but because of the fact that it's coming before the court, the board, the commission, we have the option to say, you know what, I really just rather have 2, not 3.
Like we have.
But how are we gonna
I
accept it right
understand.
now, right?
You see,
We already
and it could be outvoted
We're
sometimes.
eliminating people, but we've never done it
Oh,
before.
I
As a
get it.
selection
That's what
committee.
you're saying.
We've never done it before, that's the whole thing.
The selection.
But we've never had this many in one category either.
We did, being in the selecting
We've had
committee in the
2, we've had
past.
2, and
We had
then,
3,
I think the
actually, and we
order that
moved
they're
one
in makes
to the
sense.
category that she would also
right,
qualify
yes,
in.
I totally
But she was
understand.
not eliminated.
To keep it at 2.
The order that
We still
they're
have
in
that opening.
has no bearing on anything.
That's all I asked.
The bearing,
that's all I
this is the way I look at it. It doesn't mean that, oh, number 1 was the best one, and then we decided that
What's the
number 2 is the
rationale
second
for
best,
2
and the
versus
third no.
3? I don't get it.
Así nomás los pusieron. They're all in the same
What's the
category.
rationale? Why would
Okay.
you want to limit it to 2, or why would you want to have 3?
But-
What is the reason for that? Where
Okay.
are we going with this?
Okay.
Where I'm going, and I'll speak for myself because I'm the one who
Yeah.
commented on,
Yeah.
what I was going on it, because if this is all that applied and we're accepting all, then I'm like, okay, then we're gonna be accepting everybody from now on? Or are we limiting ourselves? And that's all I was asking, because if you feel like these ladies all had the background and they really, all of them met every criteria as far as the application, you felt it, then I'm all for it. That's all I was asking. If we limit to 2 to 3, like, I just wanted to get my head wrapped around the ladies that
I
were
think we can
selected.
cross that bridge when we come to it, because right now.
Well, no,
we
but that's
don't
what we're
have to.
doing here, aren't we? Or we're just, or
No.
we're not voting on
Well,
this?
I guess first we have to, why don't we do this? First we have to vote, right? Whether
Well,
we're
that's
going
why,
to.
that's why I'm asking these questions
So
before I
it's-
vote. I don't wanna eliminate anybody.
But that makes
So
sense.
I might eliminate somebody.
I
I'm
have
just
to
thinking for
agree that it
myself.
gives it more value. I mean, I get it, you know, everybody
No, I
to
don't.
one point. But it gives it just more worth if you're supposed to, we did last year and the year before, we eliminated a few that didn't because we already had in the category, and where we are right now
We had a
is,
lot
well,
of
everybody
educators.
applied.
We had a lot of educators.
We had a lot of
Yeah.
educators, and we did not vote for all the educators. We limited to 2.
We picked the best.
We picked the best, and if you're doing,
And that's all I'm asking, like, you know,
everybody
they all
will
meet the same
apply.
criteria, then they deserve it. You know, the ladies are on there, yeah, I'm reading it, and that's all I'm
And
just
then what
asking.
about
But
if
did you say it
in the
doesn't have any
process,
significance?
we put them in the wrong category? Maybe we put them in one category and they were stronger in another category, but in our opinion, we put them in, you
Well, we
know what I'm talking
can't
about,
tell
Sandra?
because we didn't read
But
their
we saw the
applications.
applications, we saw the
So they saw
application,
it now?
Sandra, remember, we saw
Yes.
the applications, and that's why we put them where they, for the category that we felt. But
And that
then-
you can do, yeah.
Yes, we can do that.
Yes.
But I'm saying, if, let's say we eliminate Lady X from one of these categories, then what about the other 2 categories that person was nominated for?
You can
Maybe
transfer
they,
them to that.
well, that's what I'm
category.
saying, we're gonna have to do all of that here.
I mean,
But actually, the only one they can be transferred to is either arts or law enforcement, because everything else is already at 2.
well, and that's what's been done. That's, it's just, the question that Alice asked, I think is very relevant. Are we gonna be then accepting everybody who applied? Or
So,
are we gonna use discretion to pick the best of the best?
We
So
had
that's
some people
why-
that applied last time and they just didn't have that wow factor.
right.
Right.
And that's, I mean, they're good and there's nothing wrong with them and
But we
they're
did have to select.
dedicated and
We
they're
had to
good
eliminate
servants for the city.
We
Good
eliminated.
ambassadors,
Yes, we did.
but they just didn't have that wow. And so that was one of the things
But I
that we
think
thought
because of
about.
the committee that got it, they thought at that time, the committee, that these people were actually very, very good. All of them actually met the same criteria, that they couldn't pick just
Within-
one.
Yeah, within their.
Entonces, it means that all of them are top, number
Yes.
1. Todos
Todos son
son in
number
that
1.
category. If that's the way I read it from you,
Yes.
and that significance of number 1, 2, and 3 doesn't have any significance at all,
No,
other
right,
than
no.
they're in that category,
Right.
period.
Right.
So
That's
it's
all I
not that
was
number
going
1 is
to
the
No,
better
no,
than
no, no,
number
no,
2.
we understand.
And
that.
what I'm saying
Question is
is
the
to-
number of people per
is
category.
moving forward, that's why I'm saying this. for next year, I think if we all would like to do that, then we need to make it very clear that we're only gonna accept 2 per category, or, you know, if that's what you wanna do.
Category or whatever.
2, the max 2 per category, because if word continues to get out, we may end up next year with 20 applications. And if we're gonna add a different category, you know, the volunteerism, but that's going forward. At this point, we reviewed these applications, and as a committee, the people that were there, we actually met twice. We've met twice to review and go through all the applications, little by little, slowly. And so your question was, if I may, why is there a concern over 2 or 3 or 4? Okay, so in the past, they have had, there's no specific requirement other than on the application, it tells you what categories, and in each category, it goes into detail, okay, they should be good at this, this, and this, and this. But it doesn't say we're only selecting 2 people per category or 1 person per category. And this year, because we did a very good job in marketing, we did get a lot of applications. So if it continues to go that way, yes, ma'am.
On when, I don't know any, I'm very new at this, but when you go over the accomplishments, do you have a tool and where you quantify?
There are no tools.
That's what we're saying that we want.
There are no tools.
Well, then
It's all subjective.
Well, see, that makes it very interesting, because if you don't quantify an accomplishment or something, or this would be an accomplishment, like,
This is just a very few of all.
in other words, oh, I like this, so therefore we make it good, or I don't like this one because that's the subjectivity that
Yes.
can get us into a mess.
And that's why I'm
But so
saying,
if you
moving
really,
forward,
if you're
we
gonna
need to-
restrict, then you
yes.
need to have a tool that's gonna, because this is a determining factor, the accomplishments.
Correct,
Versus who you know and don't know.
correct.
So you get your accomplishment, and then you develop a criteria and you quantify, you know, how important it is, or how difficult it, well, whatever your criteria is gonna be. And each one rates that as a 1, a 3, a 5, or whatever. And then you add your numbers, and the numbers are gonna dictate whether the accomplishment is a good accomplishment or not. Because I'm looking at some of this stuff and I'm going, yeah, okay. But
Well,
so-
that's an excellent idea,
right.
and moving forward.
But
if-
why moving forward? Why can we not?
Because the
Because
time
our committee
element, the time
today-
element might be,
We
I don't know what the
because
time
the
element
committee-
is.
It's kind of late to do that.
Because our bylaws are done right now, they're not, we can't modify our bylaws today.
But I know, but we could vote as a group whether we're gonna
I
want
think
2 or
Esther,
3.
to come up with a tool.
Oh, yeah, you have that option,
No, wait a
yes.
minute, there's the criteria, and to quantify it is not something you do from one day to the next.
No, I understand.
No, she's saying about voting right now, I wanna
Right.
vote just 3
Oh,
in
for
this
this
category.
idea.
For this year, we
for
could.
next-
For this, no. For this year, we could put it to the table and say, I mean, everybody might go for 3, but just take a vote. Do we go for 2?
You can do each category and
I'm
then
not
we can
talking
vote.
about that.
No,
Ladies.
I know, I
I'm talking
understand,
about
I am.
accomplishments
I
and
am.
the
Totally
quantifying
agree with
of
that.
accomplishments, and let's stick to that until
Totally
I
agree
finish.
with that.
Because
Totally.
because that's gonna determine whether you go for 2 or 3. Right now, it's too subjective, and I think it's gonna get the committee into a mess.
I agree.
Especially if you start restricting to 2.
I
If you
agree.
say, I'll take all 5, all 6, I'll take anybody that comes in, okay,
But
everybody's
for
full.
today, are we
Yeah.
going to have
Well,
to?
with-
I don't
if
know.
you know, the floor is open, if anyone wants to make a motion to accept what has been presented by the selection committee as presented before you. So is there a motion to do that?
Before we take a vote,
you make the motion?
are we saying that?
I can't as a board president, no ma'am, it has to be somebody, anyone in my committee is welcome to make that motion.
Well, me, because Alice had us, so I was waiting to see what she was gonna make.
Well, if you make a motion, then we vote on this, or
I-
she makes
yeah,
the motion.
Because she started with the motion, but I would
Well, no
motion,
one's made it.
I make a motion to go category by category so everybody can show if they're happy with the 3, the 1, the 2, or the 3. That's what I was gonna do, but you put something else in motion right now.
Well, I haven't, a motion hasn't been made, but I do want to make a point. The committee has spent some time in going over the applicants, okay? And we've met
Twice.
twice. We met on Sunday, and we met on Wednesday.
Yes.
And so we had time, Wednesday, we looked over everything,
Yeah.
digested it, came back on Sunday, we did have questions.
Yeah.
I did, from Wednesday through Sunday, I came and I sat with Mr. Valdez, I went over some of our issues and got some feedback from him, and then went back to the committee. And so this is where we're at.
So the
So,
committee voted for all of this already, and you're just bringing it for us to
This
approve.
thing is,
Let
there's
me
a lot of
say this.
subjectivity, and because
Yes.
of that, I think it behooves us to accept everybody, because it's too subjective anyway.
Exactly.
but I
don't have a
do, if I
choice.
may, I
But wait,
do agree that, and
I'm gonna go by, oh, I think I like Olga.
Okay,
I
no,
don't
let's,
like
no,
Anthony.
right, but let's
Or
not say it.
whatever.
But I will say this, and that's why I started the conversation with going forward.
Yeah.
We do need to get exactly what you're saying, a
I'd
set
like to make a motion on
criteria.
that for the
People,
next-
yeah.
And yes, we
Well, we have a
can.
motion.
And
No, my motion.
there's no motion
Nobody
yet
seconded.
made on the floor,
Nobody
so.
No, well,
Actually, I did make a motion.
I'm sorry.
But she didn't get, she
But
didn't
no
get.
one get, she didn't get to,
They're
Madam Chair didn't
discussing.
say.
They're discussing.
Okay.
Okay, we need to.
So that's
one at
why,
a
never
time.
mind.
Okay, go ahead, Alice, you wanna make your motion?
The only motion, the only motion I made was to go category by category and say, we all agree with it or not.
So the next thing is there a second?
I second the motion.
Okay.
And all in
Can we
favor,
have
not in favor?
discussion?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Okay, so then that dies.
Okay, that motion died. Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
I would like to make a motion to accept it only because of this. We don't have enough time to be talking about this right now. Maybe for the next time, yes. But right now, since there's nothing in writing, there's nothing said about how we were gonna do all this. If we don't accept it right now, we're gonna have to go back to the drawing board, and if we don't do this today, then our time is running out.
So your motion is to accept it?
Mine is to approve it for this time around, the way that the committee voted, and they met twice, and yeah. I've looked at it, and like I said, I would like to make that motion for us to
You need a
approve it
motion
at
for
this
this?
time around.
Yes.
Is
Is
So
there a
approve it
second?
is to
Is
move it
there a
forward
second?
before
Lizette
council.
seconds? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay,
You need-
motion carried.
Discussion, wait.
Yes, ma'am.
Wait, let her know after the vote, you get one.
Yeah, the only thing I had question on, I'm voting for it with the discussion of, on the Ms. Hale's nomination, because she's the city attorney. If there's no objection with, Mr.
Right, that was one of the issues.
Valdez,
that
that's
we
the
came to talk
only
to.
one that's why I wanted to go category by category.
And that's the one we had,
And
and
that's the
that's
only
when we
question I had. Everybody else,
No, she went with Mr. Valdez. for
So that was the
that.
only one.
She said
And
appointed.
so since she's appointed and she's not elected,
Right. We had said elected or somebody
and we
running
did
for
say
office.
city employees were,
Or somebody running for office.
So, and then, that's the only one, and I approve everybody else.
No, and we did have the same concern, and we called Mr.
So that's the
so
only
since
one.
I have the ability to appoint committees, Diana Espinosa, I would like to appoint you to a committee,
Oh, my goodness.
if you
Wait,
accept.
Madam Chair, can
Yes,
we
ma'am.
finish and forward the motion approved and move-
Yes, it was, the motion carried.
motion carried?
So, I would like to appoint Diana Espinosa to select her committee, to get a committee together for selecting a criteria for selection of the Hall of Fame applicants
For
going
next
forward.
year.
Criteria and a quantification.
Yes.
tool.
For
Yes.
next year.
Yes, please.
Is that what
And-
it's called?
Porque esto
You are
ya-
welcome to look at the applicants that we had this year and look at those applications and see what was submitted and come up with something from there. You're welcome to select whoever wants to, be on your committee, or if you want to select committee members. And then that way we'll bring it back to the board and they can see if it's something
And the
that they
city council
approve.
has to approve it.
Yes, correct.
But keep
we
in
need
mind,
to
ladies,
work
that
with it.
this is my second meeting. I do not know what you all do. You've been doing a great job. I'm just simply making a comment that what I see here,
It's a valid
it has to
comment.
be quantified,
Correct.
especially if you're going to go to that next level.
This has been
Okay.
going on since 2 years ago. We've been trying to get that down, and I'll be honest with you, because that's one of the reasons why I did not want to be in this election committee this year. 2 years ago, we tried putting a process in how to select these women and how to define them, but it never got fully developed.
It's easy to, once you get the committee going, we should be able to do it.
It's your
It shouldn't
committee,
take
yes,
long.
ma'am, thank you.
Sandra, yes, but you know, I have a previous experience about this in Nuevo Laredo, about some kind similar, and the criteria was very simple. You know, you have to measure out first, 40% of your selection is because this woman made a significant accomplishment. The other 40% is because this lady elevated the status of the woman. And the rest, 20%, is to check if this woman inspire new generations. Okay, so that's a very simple criteria you can use.
Yes, and it is a very good, and using that, all of these people qualify.
Fall into
Well, technically, no.
But then when you quantify,
No,
those are
wait,
good
no.
criteria
That
that you
is not
came
the
up with.
consensus.
However, when you quantify it, then you have to decide, is this criteria, is it a 1, or is it a 3, or is it a 5? Or whatever your number or Likert scale is. The second criteria is it this, or that. It can't just be 3 and, okay, I'm looking for this. You put a number
No,
to
but
it.
you come up like a kind of punctuation system, you know?
And that's what she will work on, and if you'd like to be on her committee,
Yeah, I'd like
you
to.
can work together on that.
Yeah.
since
You
you
know,
have some
it's a
experience.
point system,
If you
and
set
then you
up a
add the
committee right
points,
now,
and
Sandra,
then
that would be very great, or people that want to
Ways
volunteer,
to
that would be great.
criteria.
Okay,
Points.
how many people would like to be on the committee with Diana and Elia, Esther, and Sylvia? Okay, the 4 of you.
Esther said, well,
Elia and yourself.
You could also always get the Austin criteria nomination. Our senator
has
just got
that?
nominated. Yeah, that's how it all started.
Oh, no, I thought you meant the Austin group, not.
Well,
Talking about the state one.
The state in Austin, they have,
The state
well,
of Texas.
I guess, state of Texas, Austin has one. They have their own commission. The city, Austin.
are these
We're
commissioners
voting on
voting
this and
on
we're accepting
Sandra,
it.
his committee's
Okay,
gonna
so
be
this goes
called.
before city council now?
Yeah.
Selection criteria,
Not all cities in the state of Texas.
a Hall of Fame selection criteria committee.
It's because this year when we were going through it, when you want to cut someone out, there had to have been a criteria, and since there isn't anything, like if we're gonna legitimately cut someone out, we're like, what do we base it on?
Right,
That's
Like, that's
exactly what
what I
I'm
felt
talking
bad that
about.
I'm
That's
like-
what I'm talking
Because
about.
we had put people aside, but then I'm like, okay, legitimately, where is the criteria?
It has happened. It has happened where, that's how more than one person in that category came about in the past. Because we've been in that community, Ms. Francis, myself, Dolores, in that respect that, you know, there was 5 and 2 of them really were neck and neck on their background, on their accomplishments, on their community service, on the, you know, all that good stuff. They kind of met equally compared to the other 3. And then that's when we say, okay, we're gonna nominate these 2. And then some, and that's how the more than one in a category came about. Same thing, there is nothing in the bylaw saying you have to select only one.
You know, you could have some candidates, let's say you did dismiss a few, you could have them come back.
Oh, yeah.
And say,
but-
I'd
Well,
like-
that's always open.
They can
and-
always
No, no, but
reapply.
no, what I'm saying, they can come and challenge you, I think. and
No,
say,
what you're saying is-
Let's say let's category 2, there's 3, and you eliminate 1, you decide you're gonna eliminate 1
Right.
in your committee.
Correct.
That one can come and say, I'd like
Why?
to know why
Why?
the other 2 were better than
Right.
I. Can you please show me what,
Oh,
and
yeah,
you- show me your numbers, please, and
And that is
I
why-
don't think they're gonna do it, because I think they're too
Well, that-
professional to do something like that, but you never know.
Correct, and that's why you were tasked with.
Oh, thank you.
Sandra, one question. I know that it says the category specifically. When you received those applicants, did they put several categories?
Yes.
Some of them
Because
did.
that's what we need to make it clear to them, to say, just put
Exactly, good
yourself
point.
in one category and not 2 or 3. Because they're gonna go like, si no lo hago honesto, pues lo hago honesto. Si no
Well,
lo hago
but-
honesto,
Well,
hago
actually, it's not them, it's the person nominating them.
Well, but we
Correct.
need to specify to them when we're
One
making the
category per
application.
application.
But they multi-qualify, I mean, a lot
Just
of them.
in one category, do not put
Okay.
yourself in 2 or 3.
Yes, let me
Right?
just say this. Again, they reached out to some of us and asked that question. How many people do you take per category? And honestly, I did not believe that there was a cap. I was never told there was a cap. So going forward, let's establish that criteria. Are there only 2 people per category? And we need to make it clear when people are applying. Because as you say, if someone challenges it, we have to be able to have.
So then
our ducks in
these
a
would
row.
go to the city council, and then it would be put in your bylaws after that? Is that how the process goes? Or, because it needs to be written and.
The selection,
Let's say you change your
Put it in the
criteria,
bylaws.
and you say, we're gonna limit it to 2 per category, that has to be approved by the council?
Yes.
And then your bylaws get revised
Agreed.
at that point, and you should have that in there, or what?
I
I'm gonna
don't know,
remember.
okay, I don't know if the selection criteria is necessarily part of the bylaws, because your bylaws are what, how you conduct the whole committee. That is one of the main
Is the
things that we are
application.
doing, is the Hall of Fame, but that's not all we do.
Right.
So,
Oh.
it can be approved. and
Could you
it's-
have an addendum to your bylaws, so that nobody forgets? Because then they approve it, how are you gonna
We
remember
we
years
can.
from now?
Already changed the application. Remember that said that nobody could.
But I'll
be
let you research
applying.
that, and let's move on.
Pardon me?
I said I will let you research that,
Okay.
and let's move
All
on.
right, okay.
So, before you, okay, the next item on the agenda is the status report on 2019 Hall of Fame venue with possible action and any other matters incident thereto.
Yeah, may I just say,
Yes, ma'am.
Deanna is going to look at only the what did you call it,
The criteria or the
criteria.
committee
She's only gonna look at that.
and the quantification
Even
of
though,
it.
I mean, because we had
committee?
listed at the beginning things that we were gonna look at, which is the total number of selecting
No, all of that is included in the
In-
selection,
in that committee.
yes,
Okay, so she's gonna take care of all of that, just so I can
Yes.
make note of that.
yes.
So then it's not just the criteria, it's all based with
The
all the
application.
application process.
The application.
With the criteria and selecting.
Selection crit.
Are we gonna look at the whole process or just the?
Because the whole process.
Quantification of the accomplishments and because this is
Yeah,
a
it's two
critical part that
different things.
determines whether you get on or not, right? And so I'm suggesting, right, the tool, that it will have the criteria and the quantification, so you all come up with a score and the top
Correct.
3 or the
Correct.
top 2, whatever you guys
Yeah,
decide.
she's
will
not,
be.
she's
So
not
that's
coming
all I'm
with one
talking
or two.
about, but,
Okay, well, I will assign also as well to your committee, since you were looking over the process, I'm not gonna create another committee to look at the other things.
okay.
It's all process.
Categories,
O sea, lo que tenía Francis en el.
Yeah, I had categories,
and it, regarding city council, nominations from city council. And one criteria, one category that has been mentioned by everyone that needs to be added is volunteerism and community service.
And the other one?
And then the last thing
Same
is
thing.
how many should be in each category.
Might be the same thing.
Oh, you're on the committee.
And then how
I
many
wanna mention it, yeah, porque-
selections should be made. Not more than,
Okay,
how many nominations per category, like not more than
Three.
2 or not more than 3.
More than 2 more.
Because sometimes
Porque
we
muchas
might have
veces
5 from
we have to
education.
make the committee.
let's let
should
the
make-
committee meet and go over that.
No, like, no, that's saying also to discuss that.
Yeah.
When I was giving her an example.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, there was a group of us that met, I believe it was Maribel, Rosina, Esther, and myself. And Rosina and Esther went over the menu on selections at the Max Mandel. And thank you, ladies, for doing that with us. The gentleman called me regarding, I think Esther had suggested that it would take too much time to be doing the omelet station. And since there's so many people there and to have them back and forth, so she suggested to do eggs Benedict. But it was gonna be expensive and more time consuming, not more time consuming, but just as time consuming according to the chef. And, so basically on eggs, we just stayed with the scrambled eggs and then the 2 meats, the ham and the bacon. And I heard you mention that is there something else here that you asked for that changed?
Spaghetti with meat sauce?
Okay. I think you had asked, you asked for a pasta, right?
But not spaghetti with meat
Okay.
sauce. Yeah.
So I can ask you to look at that.
Fettuccine, right?
Yeah, more like Alfredo fettuccine.
Not chicken, fettuccine.
Yeah, but not spaghetti
Yes,
with
ma'am.
meat sauce.
Are there going to be like juices with the breakfast
If
stuff?
you look
and
at the
fruits?
bottom, it says beverages, unlimited tea, water, and coffee.
No
juices.
juices. So tea, water, coffee, that's it?
Yes, ma'am.
There's not gonna be like orange juice
No.
or apple juice?
No,
There's
ma'am.
not gonna be
No
fruta?
no cokes, no sodas.
No Coke? Okay.
Son esos mini, ¿qué?
So going back to the spaghetti, we are gonna request the spaghetti to replace
No,
it?
if you would like, yes, we can ask to replace it. What would you prefer to see? There's already fettuccine there.
What
so-
can he do? I mean, it depends on what his other options.
It sounds like he wants a pasta, right, in that
Yeah,
category,
pasta,
so.
bow tie, I mean.
Well,
I
there's,
don't
if
know,
it's chicken
angel hair,
fettuccine, that's already a pasta.
Chicken fettuccine, well, then delete it, then
Okay.
delete the pasta,
Spaghetti.
the spaghetti. I mean, no, delete the spaghetti definitely, but then we're gonna have an opening to put something else in, because it's already included in the price.
Mm-hmm, right.
Well, maybe you need a meat.
You already have two
Pork
chickens,
roast,
chicken marzella and chicken fettuccine roasted pot. Mm.
I don't know if that's
roasted
pot
pot.
roast.
Yeah, it looks like that, and I think that's pretty tacky.
Or is it potatoes?
You're right, it might be roasted potato.
Roasted potatoes.
I hope it's roasted potatoes, because roasted pot.
I can ask him for a meat because
Yeah, we
there's
need a
roasted
meat,
pork
Because
loin.
this is not looking the
What
way
kind
it
of
looked when we saw it in the menu.
What kind of beef would you suggest?
Depending on what he got, depending on what his options are. Because we have two chickens, we don't have a meat,
There's no fish.
and there's no fish.
Tampoco.
Well, maybe he could substitute, I don't know. I mean, this is not the menu that I remember looking at.
Okay, so on the other page, the page with the numbers, I went ahead and calculated, there's two options. The top option where you see inductees, I put 13, and I'm going with his price of $16.95, and then I added their guests, so that's 10 per inductee. And then members and guests, I'm going by what we have right now, which are 13. So if anyone else gets appointed and comes in, we'll include them. And then the council and guests, so I put, there are 9 council members and a guest, so that's 18. Total of 187. But Tiffany pointed something out. On the right-hand side where I have the total of 3,175, then there's a 20% tip gratuity,
We don't pay
and then
tax.
0.0825. We do not pay the
No,
tax,
don't
so
pay-
that will
no
be
tax.
eliminated.
That will be
The standard gratuity is 18%, why didn't it go up to 20?
That's what he put. That's what he has here. So I will just check with Mr. Valdez to see what they normally do.
Members and
how
guests.
it's fit.
And just so you can make correction is, you did the 1695 on top, but when you did the total, you wrote 1698.
Oh, thank you.
So it's just a few dollars difference, so it'll be modified.
Fettuccine Alfredo.
Percent at a time, please.
Okay, let me
Raise your
register
hand
for
if you wanna
Worski
talk.
real quick. Yes,
We've never
ma'am?
taken a guest.
Price, he would do that.
Okay,
Therefore, it says, members and guests, we've never taken a guest.
okay,
No, we've
Okay.
never taken a guess.
okay. Is that an option you want, or is that an option you don't want?
We don't,
What?
I don't know.
No.
To take a guess?
We're gonna be working.
Yeah.
These are the ladies that have been nominated, or?
No,
not everybody?
the
committee.
The
The
committee.
meeting, nosotros.
It's always been us, only us.
And I know council never has
They never go.
that many, the full council.
No, they never go out. Only one.
Surely that won't be our guarantee number, right? Because with the guarantee number, we'll
Well,
have to nip it.
That's
yeah,
that's the question here. So then, if you look at the bottom, I did it where it says their guests, that's giving them 8 seats, because the tables could be at 10 or at 8. And so that's where it drops to 2,733.78. It should be a little bit less.
And what was
Yes,
our
ma'am.
budget?
No, they sit at the same table. So if it's a table for 10, it's 9 guests. If it's a table for 8, it's 7 guests. Because they sit there too. Unless you're gonna separate them this time around.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
So the number drops a little.
Okay, so it drops even further.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay,
Because they sit at the same table, like you give them a whole table, it's like you and 9 guests, if we do the table for 10. Or if we
Okay.
do the table for 8, it's you and 7 guests.
okay.
I would say confirm 150, and they make 10% over, that's 15, that would be 165.
130 to 104.
I went, here is 10 and 15.
Ah, okay,
Table.
okay. I
10
get
on
it, I
a table
get
or
it.
8 on
I
a
get it.
table. Yes, ma'am.
Who's our keynote speaker?
We don't have a keynote speaker at this time. Alice suggested Senator Safrini because she just got nominated at the state level, but we have not reached out to her. So we need to if we want her to be our guest speaker.
I think she'd want to because she's a reference of one.
Yes.
You know what I mean? There would be a better chance of her.
I know we had one the last time. when we did it. We
We'll
had
get
Patricia Alvarez.
two, because in case her schedule's real busy, she may not, you know, these politicians are.
Do you have anybody in mind?
Judy's a tremendous speaker, oh.
Yeah, of course, she would be number one. Does anybody
Yeah.
else have another suggestion?
Plan B.
Or it could be a.
Nelly!
Oh, that's the councilwoman because she's
You
on the
can't ask her.
Why?
Or what about a past recipient?
Yeah, she's a great speaker.
Yeah.
She's a good story to tell.
Like a past recipient of a Hall of Fame.
We've had it before. We had
Yes.
Patricia Alvarez the last time. She had been a past recipient.
Do we have
Dr.
Imelda?
Villarreal también.
Imelda.
She just received that honor, that it's such a
Who's
big honor. Dr. Villarreal from the VMT. She's a past recipient.
She'd be
and-
Or
Right.
Dr. Rios.
And she is a very good speaker, by the way.
She just received what award was that? She went to where? To Hollywood or California?
Well,
she
she
received
did, no,
a-
Austin.
Madam
It
Chair?
it came out in the front
Yes,
page
ma'am.
today.
I know that our agenda item has incident matters there too, so this could still be within the scope, but
Yes,
let's,
ma'am.
but we do have it as the venue, so before it gets
Oh,
too
okay.
far
I agree.
out of scope.
Okay.
Okay, so
Can we go back, excuse me, Esther, on the entree that
Yeah.
you didn't want, the spaghetti with
Yeah.
meat sauce? I brought the old menus that
Okay.
you gave us last time, Sandra.
Yes, ma'am.
And under the Italian buffet, there's a chicken parmesan, a beef lasagna. They have a fettuccine alfredo and a penne alla vodka. So, I mean, I'm trying to stick to that, being that maybe that's what he was looking for, to maintain that price.
but we were not looking at the Italian, we were actually looking.
Well, because
Italian
spaghetti
is
meat sauce
ridiculous.
kind of in
No,
that.
I don't, can you look at the second to the last?
Yeah.
I think that's where
What
it was.
second to the last one?
Second to
Here?
the last page in the menu, and see what he took out and replaced.
Well,
On the buffet, the brunch, the,
On the seafood
brunch.
on the
On
brunch.
It was second to
Selection.
the last page if I'm not mistaken.
on the brunch. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, so we're looking at this one,
No, not that one, the page,
this one.
what is it?
Yeah, the omelet, Alfredo sauce and marinara
Right.
sauce, right?
Right.
The roasted pork loin.
Roasted
the
pork
quiche.
loin, not
He has
roasted.
That's in there, that's in
It's
there.
right
The
there,
quiche,
recommendation.
The
I got
chicken
it.
marsala, the roasted potatoes, mixed veggies,
Potatoes.
garlic. We didn't even have spaghetti with meat sauce.
No, he added that, that never
Roasted potato.
So we're gonna,
But we could go back and if we want to sub that, we could maybe see if he'd give us the same price for a couple of other, I mean, not a couple, but one of these.
Well, I'll check with him on a meat option there,
Yeah.
so.
Well, we
but
have
not-
chicken already, Sandra, a couple of times. You don't want a
Okay.
chicken, right?
No.
It would have to be a
It'll be a
vegetarian.
lasagna.
Or even the fettuccine alfredo by itself would be great. It complements the others too. That might be another
We
option.
already have the
Pero
chicken.
that's that
fettuccine.
chicken fettuccine, yeah.
Right, that would be too much.
I'll check
right?
with him, so
Okay.
let's not just go over
Okay.
there anymore.
All right.
All right, let's move on. So,
So then is it, are we gonna?
so we're
vote
talking about
for 10?
speaker, Sylvia, I don't know, we're still
no,
in
we're not. So options that have been brought up are Judy Safrini, Nelly Vielma, and you brought up someone else?
Oh, Dr. Marta Villarreal.
Dr. Villarreal.
Okay,
She's a past recipient.
lost. Did we select already the food, the menu? I'm sorry.
I was going back to the menu on the.
So we can get that out of the way?
Are we gonna get the
Well,
table
this
of
is, let's
contents?
finish the menu.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, let's finish the menu
No,
and
but,
get that out of the way before you start talking about
but this
your
is
guest
the menu,
speakers.
except we're gonna get one more meat option.
Okay, so that's
Yeah, the
done.
tables, are we gonna do 8 to a table or 10 to a table?
That's the question.
Okay, I was looking at right here, if we do the set up, the table of 8, and with the new correction of the 13 on the members instead of 26, and it's, instead of, it's gonna be the 9 plus the 1, it will be like 161 guests. So I will run it off to 160.
No, 150,
Because,
I would guarantee 150.
so I will do 160, 16 tables.
150.
I would guarantee 150, and they always will prepare for 10 to 15% over.
And then
We
multiply
won't
that by
don't wanna pay
16.95.
extra.
We're
Yeah.
within the limit of the budget.
So
So, they're still
budget,
below, they're still below this
our budget, I
prices.
believe, is at 4,500, I believe? Is that correct, Tiffany?
For the regular, your regular account, not your fundraising account, it's
We still have a
4,000.
fundraising account?
Huh?
We still have a fundraising?
Well, you still
account?
have a balance.
That's what I'm saying, we still have a balance on there? I thought we had cleared it out this last time.
It's like a little over 1,000, $1,100 an hour. For your regular account, it's $4,640.68.
Mr. Valdez
I
said that
believe
if
we
we went
will-
over,
we
we would take
definitely-
it back.
Oh, wait, that's a
Council.
total, I'm sorry, that's a
That's the
total with
total.
both accounts. The regular account by itself is $3,492.47.
Okay,
So just
well,
shy of 3,500.
that'll keep us under the 3,004, yes, ma'am.
Oh, I redid the numbers because y'all said that for us, not a day, council, not a day, for the guests, that it's already included in the table. So for the top one, it would be 3,091.68 cents for the top choice that you gave us for the one.
Are you excluding the caps also?
Yes, I just guarded that. And then for the bottom one, it would be 2,562 with 84 cents.
Okay.
And that's without the tax, that's redoing the 20% with the lower number, and that's council and us only going by ourselves. No, it's not a guest, and the inductees are already coming in their table.
Okay, thank you. So, that's,
Then we need to vote if we're gonna do a table of 8 or 10. I mean,
right. Do you want to allow them 9 guests or 7 guests?
It's within our budget, I would suggest the table of 10, the
Yeah,
one with.
So you move for the 10.
I move for the
Second.
10,
Is there a
the whole
second?
complete table of 10.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So table of 10. Okay, Maribel, did you have a chance to check with Marina on the table?
She hasn't answered.
Okay. So, that does give us a little bit of room, because we still need the plaques. Thank you.
and the centerpieces,
They
were
wanna
they gonna provide
instead of
the
the
centerpieces?
plaques. They wanna-
Is that what you have done before, the plaques?
Yes.
The plaques.
So we'll just need to get a pricing on that.
I got them last time at Big Box.
The 31st. It's gonna be March the 31st, right?
Yeah, it was a Sunday.
Yes,
Flores de
March
Ciudad
31st.
Narváez, she did very good
From the
job.
city.
Flags?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
That's
I'm
March
not
31st,
sure.
no?
Yes.
I thought Mr. Valdez had said we were
Probably
going to go
there
with
too,
the generic plaques.
Is that what he said?
Something, I remember they made some mention about, I can't remember what it was. I think we need to ask him.
Well, we can get quotes and we can see what we've done in the past and,
That's a Sunday, no?
see what the cost will be.
It's a Sunday, for the first and the Sunday.
Do we already have an invocation speaker and the color guard and all of that stuff?
No.
And entertainment or music or?
I don't think that we talked about that. The
No,
entertainment.
have you used for color guard?
The United South
Girls.
Ladies RTC, because it's all female.
You have a good memory, Alice. I didn't even remember my God.
So many years already.
But that's
Okay.
not, and it's all.
United South.
Who did
And they're all women.
And someone sang the
invocation last time?
Star Spangled Banner.
I don't even remember the color of the invocation.
Maybe we could
I
try to see if we
should
could get Lorena from Martin High School, she's in the mariachi. Lorena,
And we usually feed those kids too.
Okay. Does anybody know Lorena?
well, I mean, you could call her.
Who's Lorena? I'm sorry, I don't know.
She's in the mariachi band.
So she's a single singer. You're saying
She's in the mariachi and she sings.
For the Star
the
Spangled Banner?
star?
I mean,
Yeah.
call Mr. Cross?
Yes, I'll call him. I just checked if anybody.
¿De qué escuela es?
Martin High.
Ah, sí.
Lorena, I can't remember.
But didn't they just win?
And I think we had
Didn't they
también
just
de
win?
BMT.
Yeah.
Right?
So-
Nos consiguió la muchacha que cantó también, sí.
Yo-
There's
yo-
a second.
That-
Oh, you
my-
did
my-
it?
No, my student, remember Anna Parker?
Oh,
She already graduated from,
yeah.
they moved to Austin.
Yes, ma'am.
Lots of questions.
That's fine.
And what about invitees, like special guests, like a county whatever, or that's what we've done in the past
We used to invite
sometimes?
former or previous Laredo Commission for Women honorees.
Excuse me?
No, I understand we're not
No
going to,
podemos.
but we have
Yeah.
to. When I first came in, we did.
Well, the first
No, that was a
we don't
different
have that
event.
That was
much
the
money.
20th.
That was the
no.
20th
That's why we
anniversary.
had-
And we
That's
had
why we
to-
We don't invite.
No podemos
No.
porque
Oh, no.
imagínate cuándo vamos a llegar, de dónde vamos a
No,
llegar.
We've never invited anyone.
That was the
It
20th.
just becomes to where if you're gonna include some and leave some out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
either you invite everybody or you
Yeah.
don't invite.
I was just remembering when it was, I think it was Tano and the mayor were doing their proclamations.
If I'm not mistaken, that was the 20th.
Was it
wasn't
the
On the
20th?
20th.
The
It was
20th.
20th.
That's where everybody went.
Okay.
Because we've never included county elected officials or any judges or anything.
It's,
The other one that's a good guest speaker that reads beautifully, and she's a former Hall of Famer, is Judge Ender.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And she has spoken once, she was a guest speaker once for us.
She's
Okay.
awesome.
Hey, we have a lot of good options.
Okay. Did you have?
Oh, I was gonna talk about the music because we've had, did we have we had the last
We
time
had,
somebody from
also your
family?
son, Michael, was that Michael?
Yeah, we've had him a couple of times, but
Yeah.
I don't know if somebody else,
Yeah,
had
he was
had
real
already
good.
I
had
know
some-
we
We did.
had,
It wasn't for
20th.
free, we did pay.
no, we
Nothing
did
was
have to
free.
pay. Pero
Yeah.
también hay este muchacho que es filipino, que también es muy
También.
bueno para
Art,
cantar.
yeah.
He's by himself.
charges a lot.
He's expensive.
Yeah.
What about something from DMC, one of like the groups?
We
I
had,
heard that the
you
governor.
can ask because now, I know like in certain cases, we've asked like for the mariachi group to give a donation to the school and stuff like that, but now they charge like 300, they get 500,
I
get
know
Bahala,
that,
and
again,
it's like,
VFT has a little
you know,
band.
that's a school.
And they don't charge. You just, it's like a little donation.
A donation to the
Do we have to
Tienen
find out more?
Tienen un little ensemble.
Yes, yes, we will, because we're taking them all the way to the max.
So
And that's the other thing.
So we're going from guitarist to another band. Oh, God, so
No, I'm saying
make it
because
two
a la
different.
Yes,
posada
of course.
for the governor's small business, the kind of like thing that he had one of the BMT band, they were playing as people were walking, and it was like super nice, like, you're like enjoying the music while you're registering, and then you're going to sit down.
Well, let's keep this in mind. It's
That's
at
what
the
they
Max
charge.
Mandel, which is 30 minutes out of the city. We're
Yeah.
at 15, 18, and it's on a Sunday. So if anybody has any contact with someone that plays music and wants to give us some feedback before I say anything else, how many people that are here will make our regularly scheduled meeting next Monday? Raise your hand.
Next Monday? I should be.
Oh, I'll come visit and come and get it.
That's a regular one, and that's during spring break.
Yeah, I'm gonna show up just to
So
avoid having.
let's count.
Yeah,
One,
an absent.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
I should be.
9.
I
I need
should
one
be.
more. Is that it?
I'm out of
Mari-
town for spring break.
Maribel, are you? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, like, we're trying to avoid the absence, right?
No, but
7, 8.
Yeah, because
Anybody want them
Francis
Ms.
dijo que
Warwarski?
sí.
Right, Francis said yes.
9.
Francis said-
Okay, I need one more. But you're gonna be out. You'll be out.
Can't we
You'll
wait
be
until
out.
after spring?
I think, no, that's our regular schedule.
yeah.
Okay.
But you can change the meeting.
But since we
dates.
had a forum for this one.
We had a
can-
special call meeting
Oh.
because of that.
Oh, okay.
But we still have to meet.
this one doesn't count for or against, it
Yeah.
doesn't. The other one does, because it's a regular.
Yeah.
Okay, so we need one more. Is Rosina gonna be out, do you know?
I'm not sure, I can find out.
I think she said she was.
I would assume because of her girls.
Tiffany, do you know if anyone else has been appointed?
I felt like
Hey,
the
where's Carolyn Alexander? I'm sorry. Carolyn Alexander was appointed.
Carol Alexander.
Mhm, Carol Alexander.
I don't think she came in to take her oath for this yet.
Has she been notified?
Yes,
She has been notified.
I believe so.
I'll correct
Now,
her.
I'm not the lead on the oath, someone else does that in the office, but I think that she has been notified,
Okay.
so.
Maybe I can get her to come.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that would be,
Hey,
the-
Lauren.
so we'd have quorum. So, on the agenda for next week, Tiffany, if you want to jot down, on the agenda, we should have, let's review the guest speaker, flowers, details.
Sandra, we usually, when we have selected
Yes.
the entities, we name madrinas.
Oh, correct.
Yes, after them.
You're right.
Oh, yeah.
So you want to.
But we can't do it because remember the board has to, the council. has to-
Yeah, yeah, of course, no, it's just a reminder.
Yeah, we kind of volunteer.
Yes, when are they,
It would be after
when are they
the
meeting, do we
selection.
know?
Their next one is, they're not having.
Until the 18th.
Right. It's the 3rd March, or the 3rd Monday of March.
Okay.
Can I ask, how are you, I know you have a few speakers lined up, but what criteria you I'm sorry, I keep bringing criteria up, but, I'm sorry guys, I'm an educator, but, what criteria are you gonna use to select? Because then you're gonna go
They
with,
just have to
I
know
want
how
it,
to
I
speak
want,
very
it's
well.
also.
Very loud and clear.
Well, and people that I heard
beautiful.
are very good speakers.
I think it's the order that we like the order that we were telling her, she just
somebody
goes
else
down and asks
And
if
then
they're
they
available.
Oh.
And if they're available, then they say
And
yes,
free.
and that's the person.
And free.
And as far
And
as
woman.
what they would be speaking about, well,
Their story,
yeah,
and
and this is the
story has a
month
lot
of the
of
woman.
impact.
Correct. They're very
Yeah.
powerful women.
Remember, es el mes de la mujer, el month of March, and people talk, I mean, they tend to stick to
You have to
that.
have a very good autobiography to be able to speak
Mhm.
with what you girls are looking for.
Most of
You know
these
what I mean?
people are very, very excellent
Yes.
speakers, and they
Yeah.
have a very, pues una es, son doctors todas.
No, I'm saying you can speak and say something very nice, but is your story worthy of speaking, is what I'm talking about.
I would tend to
You need to
think
have some
so,
criteria
because
for
of the
that.
positions that they have. You have a senator, you have a doctor,
Education.
they have a lot of,
Council,
todas las que están ahí, las tres. Pero, I don't know if it's time to ask this question, but I know that it's a very long way over there to Max. I've never been there, I don't know where it is.
Oh, I do.
I would not like to drive over there, and I was thinking maybe if we can ask, maybe a lot of people might not want to drive over there and might want to take a bus, like little parking lot.
I asked the chamber, I reached out
Oh,
to
okay.
the Convention and Visitors Bureau, who normally
Uh-huh.
coordinates things like that, and their
Uh-huh.
comment to that was that they do have some vans available,
Mhm.
and you'll have to coordinate with them. They would
Yeah.
have to leave 30 minutes before
Okay,
or to an hour, depending
Okay.
on how many people sign up that
okay.
are wanting to take the
I just want to give the opportunity, because I for one would like to go in a bus.
Maybe we can have 2 or maybe 3 shuttles, like an hour before and half hour before and the time up for the ones that arrive late.
So what they've said is that they do this quite a bit, and
All right.
they've rented a bus, and they've gotten the shuttles, and they're rarely used. Most people go on their own. So if we want to use them, or if you know of people that want to go out there, then we need to get a list and make sure that they're committed, so that I can reach out to them and say, okay, we have 7 people for one van, because I don't want to have that, because they're going to have to pay a driver
Right.
and have, so let's
Well, we-
make sure we're going to use it. If
Maybe
they
we
give
can
you a
let the honorees know that there's gonna be
I will get it
available
for
that
you.
service, and that if they have a group of people that are going to be there, meeting there, and then from there que se vayan todas juntas.
Keep in mind that they do give you a minimum of people that need to sign up so they can be able to balance the cost
Mhm.
versus a need.
They won't do the bus. They said the buses, they never fill that bus up.
Which is about 42.
Maybe the Águila? I don't know. They did it for the,
But I will get those minimums.
for the parade,
I'll
not
bring
for the
that up.
parade, for the show, they had the Águila going around, taking people to their cars, and that helped, believe me, very much so.
So it'll be the guest speakers, the decorations,
Oh, the final menu.
invocations, the singer,
Do we have invitations maybe?
the,
Are we gonna have a
The
program?
program
Are we
is
gonna have a
usually
program?
done in
in-house?
invitation.
who will sing the Star Spangled Banner,
The program is done.
the plaques,
Did
And the
we
color
find
guard.
out if they were going to provide a centerpiece and or flowers or anything?
No.
No, they said that they could put a, what do you
They're-
call it, a table runner to add some color. But other than that, they didn't have.
And I guess
We
we get a
rented
small
them the
arrangement
last
from Ms.
time.
Narvaez.
Isn't that right? Well, we rented it from,
We can get
¿cómo se
some
llamaba?
quotes.
El lugar, Elia, que you,
Okay.
Mireya's.
Mireidas.
Mireya's is
Sí.
the one that we, the
Sí.
last time, that's where we got it from.
Not the flower.
Not the centers, the flowers.
No,
are
the
done
flowers
from
were
Narvaez.
with Narvaez, I'm
Right.
talking about the tablecloth.
Yeah, yeah.
No, they said that they have
Okay,
the
who,
tablecloth.
let me assign duties right now to have the information for Monday, color guard. Who can get me that information for the
I'll
United?
color again.
Okay.
Are we donating?
Are we donating?
Are we donating to them?
Well, you can find out and bring us that
Yeah.
information and we'll make a decision
I'll find
as to
out how
what our
much we
budget
gave last
is.
year.
VMT, students as far as for music?
I'll find out.
Okay, thank you. Flowers? You said, was it from Ms. Ramirez or?
We had
Narvaez.
Narvaez, Marta
Narvaez.
Narvaez did them.
Okay, I can check with her.
She did a very good job, by the way, on that.
The plaques?
Well, that was Big Bob's trophy.
Mm-hmm.
1 year, I don't know which ones were the word
I
last
did
year.
Big Bob's.
You did Big Bob's as
Yeah.
well? I can find out again. I think he's always given us a very good reasonable price, so I can ask again
Okay.
how much each plaque.
I may
Are we
come
doing,
with-
are we
with an
keeping the
option.
same to what they've had in the past, or we're gonna change it?
Yeah, spring, spring.
Was it that wooden thing?
Because it was like, it looked like a scroll.
Like a
Yeah.
scroll?
Yeah, that's what I'm
We're gonna do the
saying.
same ones?
Yeah.
Or what?
That's what I'm asking. Do you want a different one, or do I keep to the same? Because he
Why
has,
don't you bring
he already
us-
has what we've done in the
Why
past.
don't you bring us two options? The regular one, and then I know they do glass
What
things
else
or
could we
something
get on the
different that we look
second
pretty.
plaque?
1 year was a silver a
We
silver
did a
plated
silver
one.
platter, right?
Yeah, but it was more expensive, but there was less nominees, or
Okay.
less selected.
That's not called more expensive than what we did last year.
But wait a minute. For clarification purpose, it was City of Laredo
Oh,
trade.
yeah.
And the council member paid for it. Juan Alvarez was
see.
my council member and he
Yeah.
paid for it.
Yeah, I remember it was 1 year
But,
like
yeah,
that.
but I think that's sticking to tradition.
Yeah,
So I think.
Porque son platos antiguos. Okay, and then, invocation, does anybody have a suggestion or who would like to come with?
I can try to find you someone,
Okay, okay, thank you.
if you don't, I mean, from the diocese, if that's okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
If you can get Sister Rosemary, she used to be a Hall of Famer,
Ah,
Mhm.
sí, sí.
former Hall of Fame, and Sister Maria Luisa also.
Mhm.
She was also a Hall of
We
Famer.
had Sister Rosemary when we did
I can call
ours.
them.
She
Whoever
was
else would
gonna
like.
be honored
Yeah.
anyway that day, 2 years ago.
Well, she
Yeah,
also
yeah,
did
it's
it
an
for the media,
invocation, that's
she did it for
right.
the media reception, she was a guest speaker.
I can ask Sister Maria Luisa if she was an honoree last year, that might be nice.
Oh,
That'd be
that's
cool,
right.
that'd be a nice touch.
Okay.
So Lorena, from Martin, do you know her? Do you want to reach out to her?
What's that for? Martin, for what?
I'll ask Marta.
That's
también,
for-
Porque she's got somebody, because they have, VMT,
Sí,
that's the vocalists.
Sí.
They sing. and
mejor
they
que
have
lo
band.
hagas y ya.
Let me go ahead and do that.
On the
Okay.
flowers,
The
the
doctor,
nominee's
yeah.
gonna get a little.
Okay, so I think that's it.
Sa-
Alice, you're
sa-
gonna check on the plaque, right?
Yeah, Sandra, on the flowers for tables, it's also the corsage,
De little pioneer.
Okay.
because we give them a corsage. And that way we
Gave
give
them a flower the
we-
last time. right?
Because you can distinguish them from,
It was a.
From all of us.
A little
From
Oh, I
pioneer.
think it,
Okay.
so.
right?
Mhm.
¿Y quién va a hacer los
I don't want to
programas?
say it wrong.
City. The city doesn't. I know that the last time was hizo cariño.
Well, I'll work with you. I've done it before. I helped, last year, so I'll put the information in just for you to print.
Excited.
I can do that. Okay, anything else that you feel we need to include? I will probably
I'll let
give
you
a
know.
little more information on the accomplishments, because this was just very brief for the city council members. I will include the picture of the applicant, so you'll know what we're gonna present to city council. This will be on the 18th, so whoever can attend, please come in your shirts. Now, people have asked me. We got these shirts last year, 2 years, was it 2 years ago?
2 years ago, because last year. we didn't-
Okay.
Yeah, it was last year. It was the last of our monies that we were able to use.
So they did a
It was
fundraiser.
when Diana, it was
It was 2 years ago,
Yeah.
porque last year Elia was the president.
They did these really nice shirts that say Laredo Commission for Women, and then it has your name. And I know there's some new members that were asking, because we keep referring to boy your pink shirts. They're like, oh, what pink shirt? So, who can give us the information on where they were?
Yes, I just did to.
Miss Tiffany, should have the.
Oh, you have it,
We have
okay.
the resource.
Okay, so,
Okay.
if you're telling me you have $1,100,
Yes.
I don't know if we can use, if you can ask Mr. Valdez if we can use, because that's what we had done in the past, if we can use that money to get the shirts.
members their
For the
shirt.
new members. And there were 2 shirts that we purchased. It's this one and then the other one's like a polo.
Oh, what time is the city council?
And if anything, at least just the long sleeve one.
City council meeting starts at 5:30 on the 18th.
So we would have to be there by 5:30?
Yes, ma'am.
Before?
Before, yeah, because the parking is.
Yes, Ms. Morosky.
I was gonna tell you that when you, my recommendation
Yes, ma'am.
is because we don't wanna go ahead and do a priority, whatever, put the names alphabetically.
The ones with the
yes,
three,
that would-
the 2 or 3 would have been alphabetical.
Okay, alphabetical per category?
Yes.
Okay, I'll do.
Yeah, because also you
So
miss.
what any misunderstanding?
I know Miss Galo, she's also they own a business, they own AB Cattle.
Oh, yeah, no, I couldn't put
Yeah,
all the
so that's
information there.
Yeah, there's some
I
info
was
missing.
running out of space.
So that'd be good. Question?
Yes, ma'am.
More to Tiffany. These prices or these things that we want to look to as Nut Rice and Big Bob's, are we going to need quotes? Or can we just ask them because they've been previously with that's who we've gone with?
They're 1,000.
For our purchasing, we do like to have a quote for every requisition that we make. If the price goes over $1,000, that we must
Yeah,
have 3
three.
quotes. And if you
Yeah.
do generate 3 quotes, you have to use the cheapest one.
And I know they didn't go over, I've got them at Big Bob's,
Yes.
but then remember, we didn't have 13.
We didn't have 13 because just
And
13.
purchasing, I think we'll have to go to council for the commission.
It's over 1,000,
So
you have 3
we'll check
quotes.
as far as to make sure that if the commission's having to donate money in order to secure the color guard, I'll just put that as clearing that okay before that happens.
Because council could easily say.
Well, we'll have to get it approved on the 18th
Right.
when we approve. So Monday, when everybody comes in with their figures, we will put something together for the 18th.
True.
Yes.
And, but legal might say the city can't make donation. They
Oh, I
might say
understand.
something like that,
I understand your point.
but
Yeah.
we'll check first.
So basically the flowers and the corsage have to be within less than $1,000. And now we have to go with someone else.
How many tables do you think it's gonna be?
Well, I figured it out with the other numbers, just like with 160 people, that's 16 tables.
Yeah, I mean, you have to set up for everybody, but I honestly, because of the location, I think you have 140. But guarantee, I mean, 150 and go there. I mean, because we're paying for the guarantee, whether they show up or not.
But like for setup purposes, I would set up 160 tables.
Yeah, you would.
To be prepared, because adding a table is
Yeah.
more disturbing than giving you a plate.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I would definitely, on the plate side, I would do 150, and then we could always add more, but on the tables, 16 tables.
Okay, ladies, do you all want to select, before we go, there's 13 people here. Do you all want me to just assign you
Yeah,
a
just
person?
decide whoever you want.
No, I think, no, we can volunteer if anybody has
We
a
can
preference.
volunteer because sometimes you have better communication with somebody, so I volunteer for Ana Cristina Martinez.
And I will do, if I may, I'd like to
Okay,
do,
let Francis, are you writing it down?
That's what I'm
The
gonna, do, what
Madrinas?
takes the name.
if I may,
Elia?
Okay, who's?
I would like to go with
Ana
Ms.
Cristina
Lobo.
Martinez.
Ana Cristina, you.
Yeah.
And Esther, which one are you taking?
Olga Lavoe.
Okay.
Patsy Niles.
Okay.
I'll go with Ana Galo.
Okay.
Hold on.
Which one did you get?
Number 4, Ana Galo's number 4.
So 3 of them have been chosen, right? Alice, Esther, Dolores, and who was the other?
Elia.
Uh,
Ana Cristina. Number 8 is Elia.
I'll take Gigi Ramos.
Number 11.
Okay, Miss Alma.
What have been taken already? Esta Olga Lavoe,
Olga Lavoe, Ana Cristina Martinez, Gigi Ramos,
Ana Cristina Martínez, ¿quién más?
Niles, which is number 13, and number 4.
Cynthia Collazo. Ay, Dios, I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
Okay, I'll take Cynthia, that's fine.
Okay, I'll do Olivia
Cynthia
Varela.
Collazo.
Okay,
Number
so
9. Cynthia.
Number
Sylvia.
9.
Sylvia.
Sylvia is gonna take number 9.
I'll do Olivia Varela.
Number 2.
Gigi was who? Who did
Me.
we do?
Francis.
Okay, Francis.
But we can't approach these until the city council approves.
Wait, ya tenemos a Dolores con Patricia Solís Niles.
Oh, okay.
Dolores, great pick.
Patsy.
Great pick, yeah. Great pick.
Known Patsy since she
Oh,
was
my
in
God.
high school, man.
Okay,
Okay, so we have Christine, I guess starting with number 1, Cristina Ofelia Mendoza. Anybody would like to be her madrina?
So I pick another one.
Yeah,
Is that 2 Fs?
You want to do number 1?
Sí, no.
Okay, Maribel.
okay, Rosalinda Ramirez.
I can take her, except I'm not going to be here on that Sunday.
Oh,
That's what, so I can do everything before then, but I don't know if you need me on that Sunday.
No, that's fine. That's what ended up happening with me. Yeah,
Okay.
I helped before in that day.
So I can do that the before.
Okay. Okay, Marta Gonzalez Kaiser.
Is this just a column? Or what do they?
Just follow up with them and give them all the info.
If we need
Okay.
anything from them, like we're gonna do a video, so we're gonna need to reach out to them.
Giving them their time, where they have to go.
But that's it.
Just-
It's all pre-ceremony stuff. that we
Yes,
have
it's
to do.
pre-ceremony
Yeah.
stuff.
And then we present the plaque.
You present the plaque to them and stand behind them during this ceremony.
So we have to advise them.
Well, that can alternate. If you want to help do all the getting them ready and all that, but you're just not going to be able to make the ceremony.
Right.
Somebody there can do
Can take her
too,
place.
but
Oh, yeah.
that's not a problem in presenting the plaque. The chair could present it to her as well. That's not a problem.
Has somebody done Christina Hale already?
Yes, Sylvia.
No.
Oh, not Hale, no, ma'am.
No.
You wanna do her? Okay.
Yeah.
Who's gonna do it?
Yes.
Diana gonna do it?
Diana Espinosa.
Okay. So then we have Martha. Mir-
Kaiser.
Martha Mirtala Ramirez Perez.
Me.
You wanna do Mirtala?
Number 7, Diana Rodriguez.
Number 6, who got 6?
We skipped her.
Nobody yet. And then we have her and Tony Gamboa. Well, there are people that are out, so I'll reach out to
Yeah.
them.
See,
Everybody got somebody, do you have someone?
No, but I don't really know that.
We don't.
It's all right.
I don't know if you want. It's just you introduce yourself.
You don't have to know, dear. Number 6, ¿no quieres a esta
So I
Kaiser?
don't need to.
That's okay.
I didn't do anything right now.
Yeah.
No, it's just me like when I don't know, so I get real shy, so I'm like, no, 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 no.
Oh,
Tell me, please.
okay, all right, so then there's two.
You don't have to
I'll select-
girl.
Who are you gonna get?
I'll see. Where, I mean, we don't have to really that, because if someone else is coming on, maybe. we'll-
So we're only missing 2.
Just decide it.
Yeah,
I'll do 2 of them if you want.
no, okay.
But we're not gonna be able to notify them until after March the 18th on the city council.
Nobody can, this needs,
We can't say anything until after March the 18th.
No.
And actually, March 18th, but maybe on the next meeting on Monday, we can create or draft something, like,
We have to have
the
their
dates,
numbers.
that put something together, like,
And
what they're
supposed to
gonna
say.
meet. you
Like
know.
the
So that everyone's getting the same information.
Yeah, maybe we can draft something like that.
You're referring to like what they're gonna have to do?
The madrinas, a script for the
Oh,
madrina,
yes.
a script for the madrinas.
Like the date for
The
the
day.
vacation and
Like a checklist, like to let them know,
Right,
right?
diciendo todo lo que va a pasar y go, are they gonna be, I try to work on something.
If I have a chance this week, I'll work on something.
A lot more
Are they
because,
gonna do the video or not?
because the
Yes.
press release was.
So I'm gonna reach out, I haven't reached out to.
See, that's
public
what our
records.
job is to call them and let them know. Tell them the video, what they have to take.
Yes, I'll have all that. I'll put
Because
something together.
Councilors are
Todo lo que tienen que hacer ellas. Nosotros tenemos que hablar.
Okay,
con
is there,
ellas.
if there's nothing else, ladies?
No.
Is there a
Motion,
motion?
motion to dismiss.
I have a real quick question.
Oh,
I know
yes,
that's
ma'am.
too late to ask a question. With regard to attendance, we have to be here in person, we can't be here through conference
No,
call?
ma'am.
Okay,
Yeah, you have to
only because I'll be at
physically.
spring break, and I know I'm gonna miss the July one too, because I already saw the date.
Yes,
It
ma'am.
just dawned on me. When council votes on this, do they have to know how many applications were submitted?
They might ask. If they
The
ask.
exact thing that I'm thinking right now is if they ask.
And that's why,
And then.
I'll be, that's one of the test run questions I was asking y'all.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried.
So that's what your response would be.
I don't think we have anything
I
to
asked
worry
and they
about.
told me
So-
there were
No, but I
only
just don't want
13.
people to think that anybody that applies, we're gonna select.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that's what she's gonna prepare herself and just say, you know, these applicants were very qualified, they were reviewed, it's, you know, they
The
were
committee decided to
dissected.
get all of them, because it's true, you're gonna say.
The
oh, I
person
got
who's
13,
speaking on that
and
is the
you all
person
got the
speaking.
13, we're all qualified.
I'll be
You know
up
what
there
I
at
mean?
the podium, don't worry.
And you can always say, you know, this is
20.
not the first time that we've selected everyone who's applied. You know, there has been previous years that applications were submitted and they were very qualifying ladies.
They're
And they
gonna
were-
say yes, yes.
That's if.
No, me too, you just never know, there's always that one person.
There might be another opposition if they don't like one of them, the people that they're the ones that wanted us to do it. They're the ones that wanted.
Are we ready to select, I mean, we have more applicants?
They can tell you.
Yeah.
One more.
One more.
Oh, yeah, but you did another category. So you can.
Yes, we voted.
It is how, it is how the response.
Meeting to adjourn.
Thank you, ladies, so